Hello, hello, yogis, and welcome to our Wednesday Restorative Connect class. My name is Jill, and I will be guiding you through today's practice. So for today's restorative class, we're going to use some props. I have a bolster here and 2 blocks. If you only have 1 block, that's totally okay. Instead of a block, you can always use a book or a pillow or a shoe box, anything that will just help give a little bit of support. And if you don't have a bolster, then you can always use a long, firm pillow, maybe 2 pillows. When you're doing restorative yoga from home, you can get really creative and utilize anything that you have access to. And that's one thing that I really love about this practice is that you don't even need a mat. You don't need anything to practice yoga. All you need is you and a space to do it. And that space could be a closet. That space could be a patio. That space could be anywhere. So that's what I love so much about this practice is you don't need a bunch of expensive equipment. You don't even need running shoes or anything like that. All you need is you. So this month we are slowing down and getting really intentional with our practice. And so we're going to start today's class in a supported fish pose. And what I recommend for a supported fish for your props is the bolster. And we're going to put that out behind us. Extend your legs out in front of you and back yourself all the way up. This is Nellie. Good morning, honey. Good morning. Yes, I love you so much. All right. So back yourself all the way up so that your tailbone is flush with your pillow or your bolster. And then we are going to lean ourselves all the way back, letting your gaze be straight up. Now, take a moment to see if you'd like your palms, palm facing up beside you or palm facing down. Find what feels better in your body. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Let your feet come out wide. And let's start to breathe into the front line of the body. Start to feel into the inhale, feel it expand. And feel into the exhale and feel it release. See if you can allow that natural release, that natural relaxation in with your exhale. Now, if having your hands down by your side doesn't feel comfortable or right for you, you can always have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, or maybe you want to see how it feels to let your arms come over top of the head. This really is about creating space through the chest. And it's said that the chest is one of the 2 tightest areas in the body next to the hamstrings. And so if this feels uncomfortable, just know that it's because your chest is really tight. We're used to being more in a rounded forward position, and this is that counter position. So this is really beneficial for your posture. It's really beneficial for your breath capacity, your lungs, that space in your lungs, or creating space for your lungs. Speaking of that, let's start to become aware of our breath. And let's let the breath settle us into our practice, slow the mind, slow the body. As you're here, notice where your mind takes you. As you're in stillness, notice if your mind gets busier or if your mind is able to be still. And if your mind ever takes you down a path that you don't want to go, acknowledge your thought and come back to your breath awareness. Let the breath draw you, guide you back into your practice, back into the present moment. Maybe bringing some gentle movement into the arms. You can reach them up and maybe cactus them out. Maybe reach them up and cactus them out. Bring your hands down by your side. Slowly, gently press yourself up. And let's just roll through the shoulders, bringing in a little bit of organic movement into the body. And maybe let's even take a fold forward, a little bit of a counter stretch forward. Then maybe let's come into a little twist by taking the left hand to the outside edge of the right leg and then turn that right shoulder back and switch it out. Right hand comes across, peel that left shoulder back. And come back through center. Let's plant the hands down, bend into the knees, plant the feet down. Let's just take a little shift from side to side. Then extend the legs back out long. Let's remove the bolster from behind us and take the block or blocks and just place them beside kind of where the knees are. Then we're going to come all the way down to our back. All the way down to the back. And let's take a big breath in as we stretch from fingertip to toe. Maybe roll out the wrists and the ankles in both directions. And maybe you let your hands come down by your side. We're going to draw our right foot in toward the glute, and then let that knee fall out wide. And maybe you find that block on the right side. So I call this fallen tree. As you kind of settle into this fallen tree, I encourage you to notice if there's anywhere that you need a little bit of shimmy, a little bit of movement to allow yourself to settle into this posture. Notice if you want to shimmy the shoulder blades underneath the chest, or if you want to kind of round them forward to really create some space between the shoulder blades on the floor. Come back to your breath. Let the breath guide you in. Feel the inhale expand and the exhale release. Giving yourself permission to slow down and be intentional. Intentional with your life, intentional with your body, intentional with your practice. And let's take that right knee and we're going to come into a twist. So you can tee out your arms or cactus out your arms, letting both shoulders connect to the floor. Draw the right leg across, stack the hips and let it come over, and maybe find that block or bolster on the left side. And then use your exhale to allow the body to sink into this. Maybe you gaze toward the right, or maybe you gaze toward the left. Maybe your body slightly comes off of the floor. It's totally okay if your body looks different than mine in this shape, in this practice. Know that each body is different. Each day we're different. Every practice is different. And we really show up to our mat consistently so that we can raise our awareness to what is different for us today. Let's send some deep breaths into the belly. Let's take 3 more deep belly breaths here. And then slowly, gently draw your right knee back through center. Let's take a moment and pull it into the front line of the body. Extend it straight up. Maybe reach for the back of that leg and stretch out the hamstring. And then let's lower it all the way down to the mat and we'll switch it out. Bend into the left knee, bring the left foot to the inside edge of the right quad, calf, knee, coming into that fallen tree. You can let your hands come down by your side and just kind of find this in your body. This is meant to be a gentle hip opener, opening up through the chest, through the hips. Anytime we come into that cactus, we're opening up through the shoulders. Come back to your breath. Give yourself permission to slow down. Give yourself permission to be still. Allow your mind to focus on your breath. From here, let's draw that knee in through center. Take a moment, give it a little squeeze into the front line of the body. And then let's come into our twist on this side, finding your block or your bolster. And you can tee out your arms or cactus out your arms and gaze over the opposite shoulder. Send your breath deep into your belly. With each exhale, see if you can allow your body to sink a little bit more into the floor, to bring in a little bit more relaxation, a little bit more release. Sometimes when I come into these twists, I really notice how tight I am along almost like the hemline of my pant. It's called your IT band. I'm sure that that's an acronym that's short for something. But if you feel a lot of tension from the hip and it comes down into the side of the knee, and if I just run my hand along here, there's definitely some tenderness, some tightness. And what's interesting for me is that I only notice it on the left side when I bring the left side across. I don't notice it when I bring the right side across. So sometimes I just like to take a moment and just do a little self-massage along that IT band. And let's draw that knee back across. Take a moment at center. Give it a little squeeze into the side body. Let's bring the right knee in to meet the left. Let's bring the hands onto the knees and let's do some circles. Bringing the knees apart and together, apart and together. Then let's change direction. So we're really gently, mindfully moving through the hip flexors here, finding that full range of motion for us in the hips. Reach for the backs of the legs. Let's draw those legs in, stretching out through the hamstrings. Press the tailbone into the floor. And rock yourself up. Coming into Stonehenge. So I'm going to take both blocks, and I'm actually, for my body, I'm going to put them at the medium setting. And then I'm going to take the bolster and place it on top. So that kind of makes that Stonehenge shape. And then place the feet on top. And I'm going to wiggle my bottom a little bit closer. And this is Ruby. So you met Nellie, and now this is Ruby. Ruby loves to take advantage of when I'm on my back like this to pop in for some pets. Yeah, pop in for some belly rubs. And you can let yourself just really sink into the floor. Giving yourself permission to fully relax and let go, slow down, be intentional and mindful. I invite you to bring your awareness to your breath. Take a deep breath in. And with your exhale, let yourself fully release and relax. See if there's anywhere in your body you can bring in more relaxation. You're such a good girl. Yes, you are. You're such a good girl. All right. So draw our knees in toward our chest. Gently rock side to side. And maybe you want to press yourself up. We're coming into our final resting pose. Know that you can utilize the props in any way that feels good for you. For me today, I'm just going to come into a nice, simple Shavasana, flat on my back. You can place the bolster under your head or underneath your feet. And let yourself settle into stillness, settle into silence for the remainder of class. I'm going to let my voice fall quiet. And I invite you to take 3 rounds of balanced breath on your own. Balanced breath is done by counting your inhale and exhaling for the same count. Counting your inhale and exhaling for the same count. One more round. And see if there's anywhere you can release and let go with your exhale. And before we close out our class, before we shift out of our Shavasana, let's take 3 more rounds of our own balanced breath. Inhale, count out your inhale. Exhale, same count. Inhale. Exhale, same count. One more, inhale. Exhale, same count. Draw your knees in toward your chest. Wrap your hands around your knees, gently rock side to side. Know that you can extend your Shavasana here if you feel called, or if your day is calling you, rock yourself up. And we'll close out today's class in an easy seat, grounding down into your sitting bones, pressing your palms together, tuck your chin to your chest. Take a moment to acknowledge yourself for being here. Acknowledge any wisdom, anything that came to the surface of your mind throughout practice. And I encourage you to reflect on that as your day unfolds. If there was an inspiration to contact someone, if there was some sort of clarity, some sort of inclining, some sort of little nudge, I encourage you to follow that. Our higher selves, our wisdom, our intuition, when we create the space through stillness, through silence, it's easier for it to speak to us, to communicate with us. So I encourage you to reflect on anything that came up. And if it feels right to act on it, I encourage you to do that. Thanks for being here, for being a part of the community. If you like this class, please leave comments underneath. I love to hear from you. The light, the love, the wisdom in me sees, honors, reflects, and encourages the light, the love, the wisdom in you. Namaste. I hope to see you again on your mats very, very soon. And until then, may your light be your guide.